Cake. I like cake. Sometimes I like it by the ocean, and sometimes I like to have it in my home, in my room, on my bed. What else do I like about cakes? One particular thing that I love about cakes is that you can write on them. Wow, what a marvelous invention. Why write on a piece of paper when you can write on top of a cake? Am I right? I wish Harry Potter was written on a cake. It would be so much more better than it is now. Which brings us to the topic of today's video. The whole bakery cake fiasco that gripped this nation a month ago. Everybody had something to say about it, so I decided, after some long and hard deliberations with my 48,000 lawyers, that maybe I should add my 2 cents or my 2 nickels to the whole discussion too. Fair warning, these are just opinions and some of them are actually onions and potatoes, so just roll with it. Alrighty, so let's get into the meat of this issue, which, hey, there shouldn't be any meat, but this is a very weird cake, so we're just gonna have to go with it. Someone working at the bakery Deli's, or I don't know how it's pronounced, refused to write Merry Christmas on a cake. A post was made on the Voice of Customers group, and everybody collectively lost their shit and made a big hoopla. I mean, my god. But there are many facets to this issue, so let's discuss them all in excruciatingly long detail, by which I mean just about a couple of more minutes. The number one major thing to discuss here is bakeries' refusal to write Merry Christmas due to their own religious beliefs. Now, this major facet has many sub-facets. That's a word now, apparently. And we need to discuss them all so we can have a proper discussion. Can a business refuse a service based on the religion of the customer? Well. According to our constitution, no. It's a big fat no. Or a slim thin no. It's just a no. I'm not body shaming any no's out there, okay? Businesses cannot refuse their service based on religion, caste, color, creed, taste in music, or if you like David Ayer's Suicide Squad. That would be discriminatory and unconstitutional. Number B, can writing on a cake be considered as a service? See, this is where we get into murky waters. Selling a cake is a service, and as far as I know, most bakeries do not charge you for writing any messages on the cake, so hence it isn't exactly a service. It's more of a courtesy. You're requesting them to do something that they do not charge you for, so technically speaking, it wouldn't be discriminatory if they refused. If this was a paid service, I can see how that would be discriminatory, but even then, this is far more complicated because the service itself was not refused because of the customer's religion, but rather because of the choice of words. Those words were, according to the person in the bakery, blasphemous to his religious beliefs or offensive to his religious beliefs. I'm sure lawyers on both sides will have a field day fighting over this. And now we get to the good stuff, the stuff that'll get me cancelled even before I have a YouTube career. The socio-religious aspect of this entire situation. What fancy schmancy words, man. What fancy schmancy words. I know. Thank you. A lot of money was spent on my English, so I have to flaunt it, okay? I apologize. The first thing we have to talk about is the concept of acceptance. What is it? How do you define it? And most importantly, how do you practice a thing that is known as acceptance? In a society, the majority population should be accepting of the minority and guests from other nation. I believe that acceptance means to be able to live together in harmony, peace. Oh my God. To allow the minority every opportunity that you have to respect their beliefs and accept that they are a part of society. Now, respecting someone's beliefs and participating in them are two completely separate things. To me personally, acceptance is not about agreeing with the beliefs of minorities, but rather accepting that their beliefs exist and that they have a right to practice what they believe in, lest it harm other people or something. You don't have to celebrate Christmas in order to accept it or respect it. Christmas is a festival that Christians have a right to celebrate and should be allowed to celebrate, even though we do not believe in it or agree with it. Participation is not a prerequisite for either acceptance or respect. I don't know why some people believe like it is. In any society, acceptance is about accepting differences rather than trying to mitigate them. Now, of course, as we do live in a Muslim society, we cannot just ignore the Islamic perspective. The majority population is Muslim, and a good chunk of the society, doesn't just look at Islam as some kind of Zen-like religion with no practical applications. Fancy gibberish aside, people do want an Islamic culture and a society. They do generally want the societal boundaries to be those defined by Islam. So it is very important to understand that perspective. So so we can reach some kind of a meaningful conclusion. From what little knowledge I have, people are allowed to practice their religion in an Islamic society. They're allowed to celebrate their festivals and perform their rituals. So when it comes to Christians celebrating Christmas in a Muslim society, yes, as far as I know, they can. That, my friendos, is a big fat yes. Or a slim thin yes, it's a yes. I do not fat shame yeses too, okay? Okay, so what about those dreaded words? Merry Christmas. I personally believe that these words are not sacrilegious, and wishing Christmas and celebrating are two separate things. But mine or your opinion about this does not really matter. What matters is the belief of the bakery employee. He believed that these words are sacrilegious, and a lot of scholars have the same sentiment, so I can understand where he's coming from. And that's why he refused to write these words. We have to respect that. From an Islamic point of view, why would any Muslim write something or do something that she thinks is blasphemous or sacrilegious? Would you be willing to write something that you think is sacrilegious or blasphemous? I know I wouldn't. And it's important to point out that this is specifically about these two words, la mairie, la Christmas. These are contentious words, and there's a lot of debate surrounding them. So the issue is a bit more nuanced than, let's say, a bakery refusing to bake a cake for a gay wedding. The customer was not denied because of their religion. The customer was not denied the cake. The customer was denied because of the specific words. In USA, here's a good example. In the United States of America, people won't even say the N word. They literally refer to it as the N word even when they are talking about it in an educating manner or talking about its history. So even when they're referring to it, they're calling it the N word instead of just saying what the word is. So, to conclude, instead of throwing tantrums and canceling people on Twitter, we should try to understand the situation from all sides. There are nuances that we ignored in our frenzy to score a couple of social media cookie points, and those nuances are very important to discussion. We should discuss things, talk about them, so that there can be a resolution instead of demanding heads on spikes. I do like heads on spikes though. From the customer's side, I understand the frustration and anger over this. It would make anyone feel bad and alienated. But I have to say this, disregarding all of the legal advice from my 48,000 lawyers staring at me with contempt. Respect and understanding go both ways. Both the customer and the bakery employee should have tried to understand each other's perspectives. In real life, compromises have to be made. That's how things go. And just to be clear, compromise does not mean that you simply let people walk all over you and deny you your rights. Neither does it mean you bully someone into doing something that they consider to be a grave sin. As religious people, Christians and Muslims, we can understand each other better. We know that blasphemy and sacrilege are grave sins that we want to avoid. The customer could have understood why the employee was refusing to write Merry Christmas, and the bakery could have understood why the customer would feel offended. A compromise could have been made. The cake was already baked. The bakery could have provided the customer with the tools to write the words herself, or they could have found someone who was willing to write them. 50 million things could have happened that did not involve the entire Twitter brigade going into a frenzy. Remember, acceptance, understanding, respect are all two-way streets. I hope I haven't rambled on for too long. I've tried my best to give this some sort of a structure so you can get something out of it. Please don't cancel me. How can you? I haven't even begun. So this is about it. If you have any queries, please send them all to my lawyers. There are a lot of them. Somebody will be available, I'm sure. And yeah, until I see you next time.